Hello YouTube. Now today we are going to discuss about the number e. Okay, so what is this mysterious number e? That is the question of our discussion. Okay, so in order to understand this, there are some technical mathematical concepts that you should be familiar of. I will be describing that. Okay, so there are various definitions of e. Okay, the one definition would be E is equal to summation n is equal to 0 to infinity 1 by n factorial, which would be nothing but, let's say, 1 by 0 factorial plus 1 by 1 factorial plus 1 by 2 factorial plus 1 by 3 factorial and so on. Okay, and another definition is E is equal to 1 by 1 plus 1 by n the whole power n limit n tends to infinity. Whether these two equations look similar? Do they actually look similar? I mean,
No.
they are actually equal. Okay, I will explain why they are equal, but students will have a hard time understanding this. Okay, in general, how to understand this. So first we have to establish the equivalence of these two expressions. Okay, and one might also ask some interesting question. Okay, we are taking the sum of infinite terms. If this sum is infinity, then it's not a valid number. Okay, if this sum tends to infinity, then it's not a valid number. Okay, so if e should be a valid real number, okay, it should exist within some bounds. Okay, the sum of the series is said to exist if limit n tends to infinity, that sum is not infinite. Okay, it is bounded. So we also need to prove that this sum is bounded. In the same way, we also need to show that the limit n tends to this limit exists. Okay, we have two things to do. But let me explain the equivalence of these two equations first. Okay, so let's forget about this limit and let's think about 1 plus 1 by n, the whole power n. What is if we try to expand it using binomial expression, it would be nothing but 1 to the power n, which is nothing but 1. Let me write it, plus n into 1 by n, right? nc1 into 1 by n plus nc2. nc2 is nothing but n into n minus 2 divided by 2 factorial into 1 by n square, plus, let's say, for some k it would be n into n minus 1 n into n minus 1 up to n minus k plus 1 divided by k factorial into 1 by n to the power k plus some terms till 1 by n to the whole power n. Okay, so this is the equivalent expression. Okay, but let's investigate these individual terms. Okay, I am interested in this one particular term. Okay, I am interested in this one particular term. Okay, this n, so this n into 1 by n is nothing but 1. So the first two expressions are equivalent. Okay, the first two terms are equal. So there is no doubt about it. Okay. So now we have to ask the question: what will happen to these terms? What will happen to these terms if n approaches infinity? Okay, that is the question that we need to ask. Let's think about. Let me erase it. Better view. Okay. So let's just think about n into n minus 1 divided by n square. Okay. This will be nothing but 1 into 1 minus 1 by n. What will happen when limit n tends to infinity? When limit n tends to infinity, this term will approach 0. Okay, so this product is nothing but is equal to 1 when n tends to infinity. Okay, similarly think about these terms, n into n minus 1 up to n minus k plus 1 divided by n to the power k. Okay, you just for each term you divide it by n. Okay, you pair each numerator with one denominator. Okay, so the idea will be 1 into 1 minus 1 by n and so on to 1 minus k plus 1 divided by n. This k plus 1 is a finite number. Okay, so all these terms, this term, these terms and all the in-between terms will approach 0 when n tends to infinity. So this product is also equal to 1 when n tends to infinity. Okay, so now think about this. Now the equivalence is almost obvious. Okay, let me write it here. No, you should not write. Okay, now the equivalence is almost obvious. So if you try to expand it, okay, remember that as n approaches to infinity, this will not be a finite number, some number of terms. If you expand it, you will get infinite number of terms. Okay, but anyway, let me do this. It will be what? 1 plus n by n plus 1 by 2 factorial into n minus 1 divided by n square plus what? 1 by 3 factorial. You can expand those terms if you want to, and you will get plus 1 by k factorial into n minus 1 to n minus k plus 1 divided by n to the power k plus and so on. Okay, but as we have seen, let me put limit n tends to infinity. But as we have seen earlier, all these terms are nothing but 1. Okay, this will evaluate to 1, this will evaluate to 1 when n approaches infinity. So for any finite terms you can think of, okay, these two corresponding terms will be equal. So this gives the equivalence of these two equations. Okay, so here we are taking n as some natural number. Okay, n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, n is equal to 3. Okay, so in general, here it's equivalent, and in general one can equivalently define E is equal to limit x tends to infinity 1 by 1 plus x here the whole power x. Here this x is different. Okay, here the x's are, you are thinking about real numbers. Okay, you are thinking about, let's say, some a set of real numbers which approaches infinity. Okay, these two are still equivalent. Why so? It's because this function, forget about the limit, this function, let's say if f of x is equal to this function 1 plus 1 by x, the whole to the power x, this function is actually a continuous function. Okay, in continuous function, the limit of the sequences should always be equal. Okay, any sequence, if you consider any point, and if you imagine a sequence of points which converges to the point, okay, any sequence should have the same limit. Okay, so this is some advanced topic. Okay, we don't have to worry about this. And I'm just hinting on the solution, why these two terms are equal. But you can intuitively see why these two terms are equal. When n approaches infinity, this term approaches 0, this term approaches infinity. And the same thing happens here, but in a different way. But these two limits will always be equal. Okay, and let's not worry about it here. Okay, so we have seen what the number E is. Okay, now let's think about some interesting properties of E. Okay, so this is clear. I don't have to keep this. Now I'm going to discuss about some interesting properties of C. Properties of E that you would have been familiar with. And why such properties are true. You are going to see that. Okay, you would have seen that the derivative of e to the power x is equal to e to the power x, right? Why this happens? Okay, let me first define what is e to the power x. E to the power x is nothing but 1 plus x plus x squared by 2 factorial plus x cubed by 3 factorial. I mean, you just replace the numerator with the corresponding power of x. Okay. Wait, I did not actually prove why this sequence converges, right? This convergence of sequence is some important problem and you should be familiar about it. Okay? How the convergence of sequences and series, many important questions will come in that topic. Okay? I am saying that this series, summation of 1 by n factorial, n is equal to 0 to infinity, this actually converges to a particular limit. Okay, particular number, and the number we are calling it as E. Okay, there is something called ratio test. Okay, you think about this sequence. The sequence an is equal to 1 by n factorial. Okay, such that n belongs to n. Okay. This is actually a definition of set. In set there is no order, but in sequence there is an order. Okay, the actual notation of sequence is an is equal to 1 by n factorial. This just means that a0 is 1 by 0 factorial, a1 is 1 by 1 factorial, and so on. So okay. So this is the formal notation. So what ratio test tells is that if an plus 1 divided by an, okay, we are comparing adjacent terms. If its modulus is less than 1, then the series converges. Okay, and this ratio test will be another video. Okay, I don't want to put this in this video. Okay, so what is an plus 1 here with respect to this series? It is nothing but n plus 1. No, it is nothing but 1 by n plus 1 factorial, right? an plus 1, and divided by what we have, 1 by n factorial, right? This modulus, this is nothing but what? Divided, there's a divided symbol here. This is nothing but n divided by n plus 1. Okay, all the other terms get cancelled. Imagine n factorial in the numerator, n plus 1 factorial in the denominator. Sorry. 1 by n plus 1. Sorry, yeah, you're right. Okay, so 1 by n plus 1. No, actually, if there is some correction, the ratio test tells that if limit n tends to infinity, an plus 1 divided by an less than 1, then the series is convergent. Okay, so this is the actual definition. I used the limit n tends to infinity before, but this is the actual definition. Okay, so you are having 1 by n plus 1, and what is the limit when n tends to infinity? 1 by n plus 1? 0. Yeah, it is 0. Okay, which is less than 1, and hence this series converges. Okay, and no one actually knows the actual value of E because it is infinite sum. No one can computationally do infinite sum. Okay, in real life, it is not computationally feasible to do infinite sum, but we know that this number exists. That is the idea. We know that such a number exists, and so that's it. Okay. So this is a proof for the existence of E. Okay. So e power x is nothing but, similarly e power x is nothing but 1 plus x squared by 2 factorial plus x to the power k by k factorial, and it's an infinite sum. Okay. Even here you can take the ratio test and you will get the same 1 by n. Okay, in the ratio test, because some x into 1 by n, and this x is a finite number, you will get k. You will get, basically, if you try to do the ratio test, you will get x divided by k to the k plus 1. You will get x divided by k plus 1. When you compute here for this sequence, when you compute an plus 1 divided by an, you will get x divided by k plus 1, n plus 1. And as n tends to infinity, you can easily see that this limit is similarly, this limit is equal to 0, because a, we are taking a real number, it's a finite number, okay? And this is less than 1, and hence this is also a valid expression. Okay. So we have seen the definition of number e in two equivalent terms, and now we are going to discuss about the derivative of e to the power x. Okay. So what is the definition of a derivative? Derivative of e to the power x is nothing but limit h tends to 0 e to the power x plus h minus e to the power x divided by h. Okay. So this will be limit h tends to 0 e to the power x into e to the power h minus 1 divided by h. Okay, you are getting this, right? So this term does not depend on h. Okay, so when we are trying to compute h, we only have to worry about these terms. Okay, now if e to the power x is this, what is e to the power h? E to the power h will be 1 plus h squared by 2 factorial and so on. Okay, and you are negating a 1, so this term will get cancelled, and you are dividing by h. So when you divide this by h minus 1, you will get 1 plus h divided by 2 factorial plus h squared divided by 3 factorial and so on. Okay?
Minus 1
minus 1. If this e to the power h minus 1.
First minus plus 1 cut
cancel. So that's what I'm showing now. So 1 minus 1. That is the one I'm cancelling. Okay? So, and then I'm dividing by h. These ones will get cancelled in this whole. Okay, these ones will get cancelled, and then I'm dividing by h. So you have this expression. When you apply limit h tends to 0, all these terms will be 0. All the term right hand side will be 0. So this limit is actually 1. This limit is equal to 1. So you are getting the derivative of e to the power x divided by dx is equal to 1. Okay. E to the power x, yes, e to the power x. Correct. Right. Okay, and now we are going to talk about derivative of a to the power x. And a can be any real number. Okay, so how are we going to do that? We are going to do it with the help of e. Okay, with the help of e. Let's see how we can do it. This is nothing but limit h tends to 0. I mean, you can do the calculation a power x plus h. That calculation you can do. When you derive it, you will get a to the power x into a to the power h minus 1 divided by h. This is the term you will get. Okay. So in order to compute this limit, we are going to use the help of e. Okay. So we are going to use the help of e, and we are going to use the help of logarithm. Okay. So this notation log, it is nothing but log to the base e. Okay, and e to the power log of x is equal to x. Okay, so these are the two, equivalent expressions. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a as e to the power log a. Okay. See here, e to the power log x is equal to x. So I can write x as e to the power log a. Okay. And a to the power h is nothing but e to the power h into log a. Sorry. H into log a. Right? Now you use that expression that we have defined before. Okay. And it will be 1 plus h into log a divided by 1 factorial plus h into log a the whole square divided by 2 factorial plus and so on. Other terms are not necessary. And you have minus 1 here. Okay, and you get minus 1 and you divided by h. Okay, and you do the similar computation, you will get this one will get cancelled and you will get basically log a plus h into log a square divided by 2 factorial and so on. All the other terms will have higher powers of h. So when limit h tends to infinity, when limit h tends to 0, only this term will remain. All the other terms will evaluate to 0. And so what do we have here? So we have this limit evaluated to log a, right? So we have derivative of a to the power x is a to the power x into log a. Okay. So we are doing some quadratic analysis. There is some practice, and there are many problems related to this. Okay. So you see here, we used one definition. We used the definition of e to solve the derivative for a to the power x. Okay. So these kind of things are applied heavily in maths. You take the result of one thing and find the equivalence with other thing, and you will solve it. Okay. So that's it for the video. This video. Okay.